We got some things to discuss. We got some things to discuss on this morning. We got high energy because of the discussion that we are going to have right now with my guest. I'm excited. I'm excited. I think this one is going to be one to be remembered. Thank God they get recorded, right? Oh, cool. Awesome. Bro, you don't even know what we're about to get into. That's the crazy thing. You don't even know. But you're gonna know. What up, bro?
What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, bro.
Good, good. Dude, we got plenty to talk about and a condensed amount of time to talk about it. So we're gonna hop right into it.
Yes,
First
sir. Let's do it.
first question. Please tell me about your off-season body composition. Because you
Man,
posted a photo like 2 days ago, and you look like you're still in prep. It looks like you're about to go on stage tomorrow. So like, I'm just trying to find out.
old photo, man. Old photo. We take a barrage of them and just store them aside. When we're in the off season, we're like, okay, we're going back for that one.
For sure, for
So,
sure. I
so
mean, you've
right now,
got okay, yeah.
right now, I'm nowhere like how I looked in those photos,
Okay,
man.
okay.
Nothing.
When do you plan on competing again?
Next season,
Next
next
season?
year. Yeah,
Okay, so in 2026.
right.
Okay. And you've got a lot of photos and videos of you at your
Living
like
all time best. Right.
okay. We'll be working with that. Okay. All
Come
right.
on,
That
we
was
know the secret, man.
yeah. Okay. That was the first big question.
Right.
Okay. So let's hop into it. I've got some things to say, but the purpose of this call was to really talk about Mr. America. So before I
Hmm.
get into like the stuff that I wanted to talk about, like let's go back to that and let's talk about how from both of our perspectives you should have
Hmm.
won that competition, but you didn't. And
Hmm.
I would love to further elaborate on that.
Right. I mean, whenever you're competing, you have to take into consideration that you're being judged by a panel of judges. So their fate and the last call, the last decision is within their hands. So I mean, if you go at 100% and you to them you didn't meet the requirement, it is what it is. They think the other guy won. I mean, I can't do anything about the final decision that was made. But in all honesty, though, the criteria of classic physique, I felt like I was the epitome of what it should be on that day. I felt like I brought one of the best package, if not the best package. Not saying that the guy isn't deserving of it. He looked good, but I feel like when you're talking about structure, shape, symmetry, posing, I felt like I was a tad better, a bit
And
better.
conditioning, right?
And conditioning, yeah, I was 100% better.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this,
not we're not trying to knock the guy, but
of
I feel like, as I
course.
said, he's a good competitor. Kudos to him, shout out to him. But I feel like he would have been more suited in bodybuilding rather than winning the classic division.
So the thing that I'm most curious about is if you had to theorize, why would the judges make that call? Make the call that they did? Why would they make that call?
At the end of the day, bro, it's all about it's all about business. This whole
Right.
bodybuilding thing is a business in itself.
Right.
He has been the face of the Mr. America for 4 running years. Um, so I mean, I'm just gonna say it as it is. I'm from a different federation. I'm from the OCB. Everybody should know
Right.
that already. So when you have the Yorton Cup champion coming in to go face to face with the defending Mr.
Yeah.
America champion,
Yeah.
that's gonna spark some kind of controversy, if you get what I mean.
Right.
Um, I would go as far as to say they wouldn't have wanted me to come in their hometown and to come clean house.
Right.
They wouldn't want that.
Okay.
So the thing is, you know what? the champion is always gonna have an edge. You have to come in lights out, in great condition, shape, everything to knock the champ off his seat.
See, and I agree, and I hear about that all the time when it comes to combat sport.
Right.
Like, don't leave it up to the judges. But
Mm-hmm.
within the sport of bodybuilding, there's no getting around the judges. Like, judges always get the final say. So you say lights out and make it undeniable. From
Mm-hmm.
my perspective, I wasn't there that night. I didn't go to the Miss America. I just saw the pictures. But
Right.
from my perspective, it was lights out. It
Mm-hmm.
was undeniable that you should have won. So that's why we're having the conversation. You know,
Yeah. When I don't remember his name, but the guy that runs the Natty News Daily Channel, he
Leroy.
had me. Yeah, Leroy. He had me winning. Mike had me winning. These two were the commentators of the show.
What about Philip
Um,
Ricardo?
he was one of the judges. He had me winning. I feel like
Okay,
majority of the judges that I spoke to had me in first, but when I was talking to the owner, he said, reflecting off of the scorecards, most of the judges had me in third and fourth, and I'm like, yo, just this just don't make any sense.
doesn't make
So
any sense.
this is unless they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah,
They don't know what classic physique is. Because if you're gonna set a criteria, and here I am coming in as the criteria,
yeah,
you can't give I wouldn't say the guy is lesser by no means, but you can't give a person who has a less appealing classic physique the title because you're trying to say, he's our guy and he's
yeah,
gonna continue being our guy. And we're not
yeah,
gonna let that guy who's the world champion over there come over here. And
yeah.
no, I don't think it's fair, man. That's just
So, something I'm sure you're familiar with Sergio Oliva.
100.
Yeah, something that I was listening to a podcast that his son was on, Sergio
Mhm.
Oliva Jr.,
Junior.
and he was referring to the sport of bodybuilding not as a sport but as a business.
Right, it is.
And Sergio Oliva, I believe he won the first two Mr. Olympias, and then Arnold. The minute that
Hmm.
Arnold won, he became like the face of the sport, and
Right.
Sergio was like pushed off into the shadows as quickly as possible.
Hmm.
So the night that Arnold won, maybe let's say Sergio won a couple of like mandatory poses.
Okay.
You can't find those pictures. Like, they're not
Right.
available. The
Yeah.
pictures of Arnold looking dominant are the ones that are
They
currently
posted. Hmm.
exactly.
That's how
And
it is.
it's done that way because they're thinking of how can we monetize the sport to the highest level of revenue, efficiency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Arnold
100.
was driven to be the star, whereas Sergio Oliva was really just focused on the craft of
Right.
bodybuilding, and he
Bodybuilding.
happened to have like a very good structure. So it's just two very different things.
Right.
With that in mind, Mr. America did whatever it did. We're working together now,
Hmm.
and I'm focused on turning all of the athletes on this project into stars. The
Right.
thing is that not every athlete on the roster wants to be a star.
Hmm.
And the person I'm talking to right now, you, I can tell from our interactions and just seeing your mindset that you are driven to be recognized as the guy within the natural bodybuilding sport, and I
Right.
want to help you achieve that vision.
100, man. I appreciate that. Um, I feel like it's gonna take a lot though. I mean,
It is.
it's gonna take a whole lot of work, and
Yeah.
I feel like the Natty King being where it's at right now, it's a good starting point, in which we can use the platform to garner a little bit more recognition for the athletes on board. So it's a good move moving forward, you
So,
know.
yeah, and to your point, I'm in complete agreement with you. It is we can't even we can't even quantify the amount of work that's going to be required in order for this to be immensely successful. We're talking
Mhm.
about like zero to global impact. And
Right.
the reason that I am committed to this project and I have faith that it will be successful is because I believe in the power of storytelling and I believe in the
100.
power of myth. Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite film trilogies and considered one of the greatest trilogies, period, in like ever in the history of fiction and storytelling. Hey, bro, do y'all think
Think
I don't even know who
prosper
Prosper is.
natural.
I don't know who Prosper is.
Prosper Fitness.
Oh, I'll have to look him up.
he's from Nigeria, but he lives in the UK.
Okay.
You know Prosper, man.
I might if I saw him.
Yeah. Oh man. I wish I had a picture to show you, but I'll send them to you later.
I'll look him up afterwards.
Yeah, man.
But the point that I was trying to make is that the Natty King is a story. Just like Star Wars is a story, just like Lord of the Rings is a story, just like Game of Thrones is a story. Our job as storytellers, athletes, and players within this narrative is just to do a good job furthering the story. At some point, the story will pick up steam and it will take care of itself. Enough people will start asking questions and start developing an emotional investment in seeing the outcome of the story.
Hmm.
We just
Hmm.
have to stay focused on furthering the plot. With
Right.
that in mind, if I'm looking at successful nonfiction narratives that have like already come and gone, I'm looking at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Joe Weider. Let's say
Right.
I'm in the position of Joe Weider creating this new franchise, and I'm seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as the perfect person to bring bodybuilding to like that next level of excellence and
Hmm.
exposure and performance, right?
Hmm.
Let's say I'm turning you into like the front runner for
Right.
the Natty King project. You've got the physique, you've got the drive, you've got the mental clarity of what
Hmm.
this could be, and you also
Hmm.
see yourself already as
Right.
the Natty King. So
Hmm.
personally, I would like to start shaping your trajectory on this project as the front runner, as the guy that like everyone else is going to have to be.
I'm gonna set the standard, man. I promise you that. I mean, it's already been set. I just think that there's always work to be done, bro. And I'm just looking forward to the journey to come.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's like when I look at all right, so I was doing some math in preparation for this meeting with you. And you're from Jamaica.
Hmm.
I'm looking at Usain Bolt, who you mentioned on the Zoom call
The
the other
meeting,
day.
right?
Yeah. His net worth is 90 million. He's got a
Hmm.
$90 million net worth.
Right.
And you mentioned it's like, okay, so we want to have the Natty King win $1 million, which is like currently in the sport of
Hmm.
natural bodybuilding, that's unrealistic. From my
Yeah, it is.
perspective,
Yeah.
Usain Bolt, his net worth being 90 million, and then the Natty King, whoever wins that title, gets
Hmm.
1% of the total amount of net worth of Usain
What
Bolt.
you're right.
That is not unrealistic to me.
It's not.
It's not
It's not.
unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic. But I will say, because we're of a new chapter
Mm-hmm.
and people aren't really, familiar with what we have going on. People may
Mm-hmm.
not see the vision. We have the vision, bro.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it's possible. We're capable of pulling it off, but it's just to get people on board to see the vision that we have also. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
Um,
mm-hmm.
the financial part, I feel like it will come, but it will take some time. It will take time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely 100% going to take time.
Okay.
And the good news is that like you don't have to do anything that you're not doing already. Just like
Right.
keep being yourself.
Right.
And then I'm putting as much responsibility on me to make sure
Mhm.
that like the people that I'm working with, it's just storytelling. Like we
Right.
don't like your story as a natural bodybuilder is now just being worked into a bigger vision, which is
Hmm.
the Natty King needs to be crowned. What are the stakes? We are fighting for the sake and the soul of the fitness industry.
Right.
Those are what the stakes of this project are. If we do not
100.
crown this person, this icon out of the sport of natural bodybuilding, then the enhanced side continues to reign supreme. And the politics at work, selling supplements, selling enhancements, and incentivizing that we are not good enough, our natural human potential is not good enough to achieve greatness, that narrative continues.
Right.
And that's why, to me, this project is incredibly important. And yeah,
Yeah, J Revolution said it can and will happen. 100, bro. It will. If we're consistent with what we have going on, it will happen. I
100%.
I will say, when it comes down to the stereotype of natural bodybuilders and people trying to prove if we are natural or if we're not, I mean that's up for debate. But at the end of the day, when you do comparisons of us natural bodybuilders, even though you can't use a naked eye to tell if a person is actually natural. So, for example, this guy in the comment, he commented if Prosper Fitness is natural. I can't say if he's natural or not just by looking at him. I know he has a great physique, and a lot of people kill to have a physique like that. But chances are he's natural. Chances are he is natural. People look at me and think I'm not natural. But how do I prove to them that I'm not natural? I can't. I can only prove to myself and be real with myself, 100 transparent with whosoever is around me to say, hey, I've been doing this for 15 years. I have Crohn's disease. I would not put my health at risk to go on any form of PEDs or, anabolics. So I try to keep it as natural as possible. Nobody even thinks having Crohn's disease and bodybuilding can actually go together. I'm the only person I know with Crohn's disease who's competing at this level naturally. I've never heard of anybody else
Yeah,
that has done it.
yeah, yeah,
So that's a blessing within itself. So
yeah.
I don't think it's for us as natural bodybuilders to try and find out if, hey, this guy is natural. If he say he's natural, okay, fine. Can we prove he's natural? There are many ways we can go by, but there's many holes in the system that may not be as accurate as we think. Because somebody can claim Natty, but at the same time is not natural, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's got its own set of hurdles, and my solution
right.
to the whole natty or not thing is just working with individuals who show high levels of integrity and morality and a code of ethics.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, we've got 10 athletes currently on this team, and out of all of them, you present not only just with your physique, like take your physique out of it, you
Right.
present with the mentality of you are already the Natty King. You are already that front facing person who raises himself to that standard of
Right.
excellence that the
Mhm.
Natty King is intending to embody.
Right.
So and it's like I don't want to make it exclusive to someone like you, but if 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 we've got 10 athletes on the team and you're like the one person who's like talking and walking the
The
walk,
walk. Right.
it's like, all right, well, you've got to be the front runner, and that does paint a target on your back,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's Joe Weider and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we know that history, and we know that Joe Weider was working and practically
Right.
conspiring to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
Arnold won, you know? So in the event that you win, it's a spoiler. And in
Right.
the event that you lose, it's an upset. And like
Mm-hmm.
that's your storyline. It's a spoiler if you win and it's an upset if you lose. And like that's how
Right.
we do it.
That's the thing. I made a post the other day with the caption saying stay hungry like the underdog, but with the mentality of a champion. So
Mm,
that will always be me. I'm
I
gonna
love that.
always stay hungry,
I love that.
but
I
with
love
the
that.
mentality of the champion. So no matter where I am, as in if I'm even at the top, I'm just gonna keep going no matter what. I'm gonna keep the hunger, the fire burning. So whosoever wants to take the crown, they have to come just as good as I am or even better. That's the only
Absolutely.
chance.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. So going back to Usain Bolt and
Right.
yeah. So someone asked, what will the winners get? We are looking for a $1 million cash prize. That's exactly what we're focused on. Um, so Usain Bolt, greatest sprinter of all time. Let's
Hmm.
say we start structuring your story as the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
Right.
Forget enhanced. We're just saying you're a natural athlete and
Hmm.
your trajectory is the greatest bodybuilder, right? Classic
Right.
physique. My roommate made a really great comparison to like kids. Like there's something innately human about speed where it's like as
Right.
kids it's like we're always sprinting, right?
Right. Always
And
running.
yeah, and it's
Hmm.
like how many kids know of a cheetah, and like a cheetah being like the fastest animal,
Animal.
right?
Hmm.
So if we were to compare the $90 million net worth of Usain Bolt in the human form of a cheetah, then
Hmm.
the 1%, which is to me crazy, but the
Crazy.
1% example of of an animal in human form would
Hmm.
be a panther.
Right.
So a cheetah represents speed via
Hmm.
movement, and a
Right.
panther represents elegance and power via movement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then we start structuring the sport of bodybuilding, specifically with this competition, around
Right.
movement rather
Yeah.
than however bodybuilding and competitions were being structured. We are now, so far as the Natty King tournament, we are now pushing it towards an emphasis on movement. Who has the
Right.
best movement? Yes, size, shape, and conditioning will play a factor,
Mm-hmm.
but the tournament itself, we're going to be focusing on movement. And that means on and off the stage. If we relate it back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, he also had the best movement.
Movement. Right.
He was able to convince Joe Weider and the
Mm-hmm.
audience that his name at the top of the podium would sell. It would move more
Right.
numbers. It would
Yeah,
move
and it
more
did,
numbers.
and it did work. It did work
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Arnold went on to have a very successful
yeah.
career in
And it goes back to
filmmaking.
movement. It goes back
Right.
to movement. So it's like posing, yes, movement, but also it's like, are are you moving us? Are you
Right.
moving the audience? So like it's always going to go back to movement, and the movement of bodybuilding is going to have an emphasis on elegance and power.
Somebody asked me if will Netflix or Tubi pick it up?
It
Will
will
you answer to that,
probably
Sean?
it will probably be Netflix. It will probably be Netflix. But between now and like the next 2 years, most content is going to be featured on Instagram or YouTube. We are setting up a YouTube channel for the Natty King. We're going to start making long form content there. The strategy is to start a public dialogue with other YouTubers, asking the
Mm-hmm.
question: should there be a natural athlete in the sport of bodybuilding that is considered the face? Is there a natural
100
athlete
man.
in bodybuilding that is worth $1 million?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're on the same page with that. Also, so far as like storytelling is structured, I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, where it's like an ensemble piece. You've got multiple people vying for the crown. So if
Right.
you're like the front facing guy in the lead, so far as physique, so far as drive, so far as like target on your back, then
Mm-hmm.
my job is to build the other athletes around you to raise them up to that standard and
Right.
make it look competitive.
And
You
that's
know?
what we want. I don't want to just be the front runner in anything. I want some form of a competition where at the end of the day will be hard because nothing in life that comes easy is really,
Yep.
respected.
Yep. Yep.
So I want the competition to bring the competition.
Yeah.
You get me? Even
Yeah.
though I feel like I'm the competition, not coming from a place of, um, cockiness, but confidence. I know what I can bring
Yeah.
within my physique. I still have time. I've just been back to training 2 years roughly, and I've accomplished a lot. So I can only imagine in the next 2 to 3 years how much more I can accomplish. So that's what I'm looking
Absolutely.
at.
Absolutely. So there are a couple people that I'm looking at as like your top rivals, and they all kind of represent different things of what like the Natty King is supposed to be. Like let's say I'm helping you, like I'm doing everything
Hmm.
in my power to make sure that you win, but then at the same time, in the event that you don't win, I'm also looking, it's like I need to bring my physique up to your standard because
Right.
I know I've got the drive, I know I've got the mentality,
Yep.
and I know
Yep.
how I get where I can take this sport. So
Hmm.
if I can't get you crowned, then it's got to be me, which means that my
Somewhere. Yep.
physique has to be of a certain quality. So
Right.
like I'm a contender, right? Then you've
Hmm.
got Matt Butali. I really like Matt Butali's like
Right.
he really knows how to lock in. That's like
Hmm.
a fantastic trait that we can
Hmm.
like exemplify further. Like Matt Butali, he's just focused,
Right.
eye of the tiger, movement, right?
Yeah, I like
Um,
that.
yeah, and then you start looking at some of the physiques, like Josh Manoe, who I'm supposed to do a Zoom call with today. He's falling out of love with the sport of bodybuilding because like he's really found his faith in Christ, and from his perspective, bodybuilding is a bit self-serving and it doesn't serve the Lord in the way that he is starting to like resonate with. And as a storyteller and a promoter, my strategy and goal is to have his faith realigned with the sport of bodybuilding and
Right.
suggest that you can actually bring more people to God and Christ
Through
by
bodybuilding.
presenting, yeah, through bodybuilding. So,
Remember,
mhm,
sorry for cutting you. Your body is the living temple of Christ. So you treat it with respect. You go to the gym, you train for hours on top of hours, and you eat right, you keep your body in the best shape possible. That's a way of showing gratitude or respect to the Most High. A
Yeah.
lot of people may not look at it like that. The problem comes in now is with the abuse from like for example, steroids, not doing necessary checkups at your doctor to ensure that your body functions well. So these are ways in which I look at serving Christ through my body. It may not be by me going down on my knees to say a prayer, but at the end of the day, it's still showing people, hey, that this is how you should go about keeping a healthy body and living a healthy lifestyle. And this is what Christ wants of us, anyways. He spoke of it in the Bible. I just can't pinpoint where, but he did.
I agree. I agree. And that's obvious. Like, I don't have too much knowledge of the actual scripture, but I do
Mhm.
believe that the philosophies of the teachings of Christ and the Bible, we can
Mhm.
direct Josh's mentality back to bodybuilding.
Of
Because
course.
and what I've already tried to explain to him is that I discovered natural bodybuilding through Josh, and I also discovered Christ through Josh. So
Right.
if he did that for one person and me,
Right.
that suggests that he could do that for thousands, if not millions of people.
Mhm.
So he would be a very powerful rival, especially when
Mhm.
he's armed with such a strong, compelling for Christ. He would be a very powerful rival to put next to you. And he's a two times Mr. Universe champion. So
Right.
that's a compelling rivalry.
That is 100% true. I mean, most of who God calls to carry out his duties or his works are not usually perfect people. You get me? Peter, Paul, I mean Saul that you later became Paul. God uses the hard-hearted people who have, been in the deepest depths or the darkest parts within their lives to come and bring forth his word. So I feel like I can understand Josh's perspective when it comes down to him thinking maybe it's not doing much to call people to the throne of Christ. But I, for one, believe that it's my testimony and where I have been having Crohn's disease, God giving me that healing that I fought long and hard for. And I can say, you know what, God has taken me from that level to this level, and I'm able to accomplish this much within this short time. That's a testimony within itself. And
Yeah.
I'm using bodybuilding to inspire as much people to try to
Yes.
live a healthy life
Yeah.
and live a healthy life naturally.
Yeah.
I am a man of faith, and I think bodybuilding is 100% in alignment with my faith. Because at the end of the day, all of what I'm doing for myself, it can be a little self-centered sometimes because the focus get a little bit shifted. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that, hey, God is the one that brought you here. He has done so much for you, and you're giving back to Him by letting people know that, hey, God worked through me. And bro, come on, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I'm just grateful for all the opportunity I've gotten and
Yeah.
the second chance that God has given me to do bodybuilding and to do bodybuilding at its highest level, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not many
Absolutely.
people can go on the edge to say that God has brought them from the lowest levels of sickness
Yeah.
to the highest of accomplishments. No, not many people can say that.
Amen. No, I
Amen.
very much agree. I very much
Right.
agree. Yeah. There were a couple questions while you were speaking. There were two questions that I want to respond to. Is it going to be a classic physique or open bodybuilding division, or is it going to be like everyone competing
Mhm.
for the same title? To answer your question, we are looking at the entire landscape of natural bodybuilding, and we are inviting athletes who compete in classic and open division to compete for this title of the Natty King. We are looking to crown the next sports icon to come out of bodybuilding, and that will be a natural athlete. Men's physique do not really qualify currently, but we will think about that after we crown the Natty King. And then there was another question: is this going to be a reality TV show or something? This is a storyline that plays out across social media, Instagram and YouTube primarily, that will inevitably turn into a docuseries. So the
Right.
storyline plays out first, and then with that storyline, as people become more interested and more invested in finishing the story, that's when it becomes a docuseries. But
Mhm.
it is our job as content creators, influencers, athletes, and storytellers to properly tell a story that creates social engagement, and then from there, the reality TV series or the docu series that takes shape afterwards.
100.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm in complete agreement with you with what you said about Josh, and
Right.
hopefully hopefully we can be positive influences in his life, because I think he would be a very powerful force
A
and a very
100%.
yeah. I think he's got a great physique. Again, he brought me to bodybuilding and Christ, so
Mm-hmm.
if he can do that one for one person, he can do that for many, from my
100.
perspective.
Right. Right.
Um, okay, so there was something. Oh yeah. So talent, man, talent. So
Right.
I'm looking at like the WWE structure, and
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding pumped out one superstar. Honestly, if we're being completely honest, bodybuilding pumped out one superstar, and that was Arnold
I
Schwarzenegger.
know.
WWE pumped out more. It pumped
Right.
out The Rock. It pumped out John Cena. It pumped out Dave Batista. It pumped out,
Triple
you could say,
H.
Triple H. All right.
Many.
So yeah.
Many.
So if we're looking at frameworks, it's better to look at, because I want to turn everybody rich. That's my goal. I want the world to prosper. I don't want one person to prosper, right?
Right.
So if we're looking at a WWE framework, then it's talent and then it's management. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of playing the role of both, which is not dissimilar from how Vince McMahon structured his story, where he was the creator and the management and the writer, but he was
Mm-hmm.
also performing with the talent and the athletes, right? So I'm doing
Right.
something very similar to that. And I really want to emphasize within this call, like, you really are the standard for like the ideal talent and athlete
Right.
to work with. You've got the
Mm-hmm.
physique, you've got the drive, you've got the vision, you understand what this could be, and you're
Right.
also providing a very high level of communication. You're easy to work with.
Yeah,
And
which
I'm
is
saying
needed,
this,
man.
yeah, yeah. And I'm saying this now because it's like, you and I are going to be able to work together very well because you're on the same page. Like, I don't have to, like, it's not like pulling teeth from you in order to
Right.
like get you on an IG live call. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
other athletes on the roster, which I'm not going to like name any names,
Right. Right.
where are you guys at?
I know.
Where,
And the next thing is, I mean, if you're looking to create something worthwhile, I feel like the hardest questions are the ones that needs to be asked. People need, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, people need to see our vision. People need to see where this is heading. And the only way we can do that is by being transparent as much as possible. People, because I mean, people are on board the Natty King. Great physiques are on board. But as you said, it's not just about the physique. It's about your character. It's about the storyline, you know. So I feel like people just can open up a little bit more,
yeah,
ask the questions that are
yeah,
necessary. So when people come to you and say, hey, like these questions that are being asked in the chat,
yeah,
you can have an answer to give to them, an
yeah,
answer to the people with confidence. Like, this
yeah,
is what we're going to pull off and this is what we're going to do, no
yeah,
matter what it is.
yeah.
But we just need to get everybody on one page, you know, and feel like we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned the talent and the high level of communication that you're providing, just because I want to make it clear that the reason that you're going to get spotlighted more than other athletes is because you're vocalizing that you're ready to be spotlighted.
Right. Let's
So
go, man. I'm
yeah,
ready.
yeah,
No time to waste.
yeah, and you said that on the Zoom call as well, where it's like
Right.
you're understanding this timeline. We're aiming for a June 2029 tournament, which means
Yep.
we have to raise essentially minimum, bare minimum, $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million by June 2029. And if we're being completely realistic, we actually need more like 3 to 5 million in order
Right.
for like the production and all the endorsements and all that stuff. We want to raise like $5 million by June 2029. You
Right.
hear that and you're like, okay, well, we got to get a freaking move on.
Yeah, we gotta get the road running, man. Hey, Mr. Natty Games. Mr. Natty Games.
Yes.
Oh, my guy saying what's up. What's up, bro? Anyways, I feel like with me alone with that mindset, it's gonna, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like people need to just start coming out with the mental clarity, asking the question that needs to be
Yes.
asked, and don't be like, you know what, let me just sit back and let the main ask it because he's the one that's gonna ask it. No,
Well,
everybody
and
needs to be on
again,
the same page.
it's like it's crazy because it's like everyone has an opportunity to hold the microphone,
Right.
and whoever chooses to pick it up. Okay, well, listen. Like again, we're restructuring the sport to be about movement, performance, and communication. Who is the best
Mm-hmm.
communicator? Daimain, if you're picking up the microphone more often than every other guy, look at the WWE structure. Who's got the best mic skills, and then who goes on to be a movie star?
Yeah, yeah, for
Like
real.
that like so you get it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it will take other like some time for other athletes to pick up on it. But
Mm-hmm.
like while you understand it, I very much encourage you just to run with it. Be outspoken, be a leader, because this is a story about leaders taking
Right.
shape within the sport of natural bodybuilding and then leading a movement
Mm-hmm.
of natural human potential. So the
Okay.
story is of leadership. And if you
Yeah.
are the top leader, don't even worry about the other athletes. Don't even
And
worry
that
about
is true. That is true. I feel like some of the other athletes too, they just feel like they'll come under a lot of fire or flux just by not by saying what they think. They think they're just gonna be either blackball or something of that nature. Bro, I'm just open, man. Whatever
it.
comes to my mind and whatever I think is gonna benefit me, I'm gonna go forth and just say what I need to say, man. That's
Yeah.
just how I am.
Yeah.
I mean, and with me too, I say things that's gonna hurt feelings, and not it's not saying it's intended, but if it has to be said, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
say it,
And
man.
it also I have to acknowledge the fact that what we are doing is different than how the sport of bodybuilding was being structured, where in 2025 it was more so a diet competition where you get as conditioned as possible, you go on
Hmm.
stage, you do your side-by-side comparisons, who's got the best size, shape, and conditioning, and then that person, if they've got all the right criteria and they present themselves best, now they're winning the competition.
Right.
And the way that we are structuring this, there is a much greater emphasis on narrative, story driven
Hmm.
movements. So as the athletes make their way to the stage, we're capturing their entire journey. And by the time that they are finally competing against each other, it matters less about the size, shape, and conditioning, and more so the movement, the communication, the performance aspect. Are you able to bring this entire year and a half long of prep to fruition on the specific night
Today.
and make
Mhm.
a compelling argument that you really should be crowned the Natty King?
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
I think that goes into a very good segue question, which is like if we're looking at Game of Thrones, which like I really like to use that because I think it's a very good ensemble project. You don't know if you're watching that show or reading that book, you don't know who's going to get to the Iron Throne. You don't know who's going to end up becoming the king, and I
Hmm.
love that kind of concept. Yeah,
Right.
we can place you in the front runner position and suggest that like you
Yeah,
have
but
like
that may not be the case.
yeah. So it
Right.
would be like I said, it would be a spoiler if you won, but like
Right.
it could be an
An
upset
upset.
if you don't win, right?
Right.
So I really like that framework. And one thing I'm like really paying attention to is I don't want the wrong person to win, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how do we define who would be like the wrong person to win? From my perspective, it's a guy with a really great physique who's just like you see him and your jaw drops, but he's
Right.
incredibly self-centered and he's like he gets $1 million and then just runs off and like buys a
Mhm.
Lambo and like
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So I just keep that in mind.
I feel like when it comes down to the decision making in crowning the Natty King, the public themselves has to be heavily involved. Not just
Agreed.
the judges, not just the
Agreed.
judges.
Agreed.
So we're gonna have to have polls. We're gonna have to make it very interesting. It's not
Yeah.
just about the visuals that they're seeing on screen of the person's physiques. You
Yeah.
get me?
Yeah.
It has to be about the personality, as you made mention of. It has to be about the charisma, the character of the person, how well they interact with the public on a whole. So all of these things has to be taken into consideration in crowning the Natty King.
I've always been attached to this vision of having the winner of the night have it be like almost like a unanimous decision across the
Hmm.
audience, across the judges, and
Right,
maybe even across the actual athletes. Where
right,
it's like
right.
when the person wins, it's like, yeah, yeah,
He deserves it. He
exactly.
did. He deserved it more. Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
clear, man.
And maybe there's like one or two people go like, oh really? But like
Hmm.
we're going for like a 90% approval rating across the board,
Right.
audience, judges, and athletes, where it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Hmm. Yeah. We and crowning the Natty King, it shouldn't just be because of the fact that hey, Daimain is a cool guy and he's humble. It should be more than just that.
Yeah,
If you
man.
get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
even
man.
even even let's make reference back to the last show I did, the Mr. America. Before I went on the stage, even in some comment on an Natty News comment section, this lady made a comment and she was like, "Oh, the doctor, he's four-time champ and P.S. side note, he's the humblest human being you could ever meet." I mean, that's good. That's good to some extent, but at the end of the day, if we're on stage competing, it should be about the matching, the clashing of the physiques. Who's actually
Yeah,
better?
yeah,
Not to take away from the fact that the guy is a really nice guy and he's very humble,
yeah,
but put that aside for a sec. We're
yeah,
judging physiques right now.
yeah.
But within the Natty King, it should be the whole package
Yes,
that
yeah.
you bring.
Well, that's why I bring it back to I made the Usain Bolt analogy where it's like if Usain Bolt is like the human representation of the fastest cheetah, right?
Hmm.
Then the Natty King, if we're going off of cats, we want the human representation of a panther. And what does a panther represent in relation to a cheetah? If a cheetah's fast, a panther, so far as movement is concerned, elegant and powerful.
Hmm.
So we're
But
looking
still
to
fast.
crown, yeah,
Right.
the person who wins, humble, great that you're humble. Like humble is
Hmm.
almost like it's almost like a
Yeah,
prerequisite,
exactly. Yeah.
almost. You know
Right.
what I mean? But what we're looking for is like who is showing movement the most elegantly and the most
Hmm.
powerfully.
Right, right,
Like who is
right.
communicating the best? Like okay,
Yeah,
a compelling
and
argument.
that's what you want. People would say Damian is very humble. I'm like, yeah, I'm humble when I need to be humble, and that's the truth.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a time and place for everything. But if I have to step out my comfort zone or out my shell just to make something happen, if it's to spark a rivalry or to create controversy, I'm gonna do it. If
absolutely.
it's required, I'm gonna do it. And then people are gonna say, "Oh, I thought this guy was the humblest guy, but now he's acting all cocky and I don't like it." But people
Yeah.
don't understand sometimes when it comes down to projects like these, it requires
Yes.
a change of character
Yes. Yeah.
just to get people to see that, hey,
Yes.
you know.
And I'm so
So,
glad that you're articulating that. If we're again looking at the WWE framework, then they use faces and heels. So faces
right.
are considered good guys and heels are considered bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest sports entertainers to ever come out of the WWE universe is Dwayne The Rock Johnson,
Right.
and he first became popular and over with the fans when
Mm-hmm.
he was using his heel character.
Right. Right.
That's when he
Mm-hmm.
developed his mic skills, and he
Yep.
was basically bashing the audience. He was bashing the other WWE
Mm-hmm.
superstars, and that's what propelled him to the
To
next
the
level
top.
of
Yep.
of stardom. Yeah, exactly. So that's just something to keep in mind. The cool thing is with and like you already have the mentality, so I'm super excited to work with you. You could be perceived as a heel right up into the moment where you actually get the crown, and then you do a turn of face, and now you become a face because it's
Mm-hmm.
like you did what was required in order to like garner the attention, get the
Right.
buzz, build the momentum. Then you
Yep.
win the crown. It's like, all right, I'm a good guy now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and like that
Yeah.
story plays out all the time in WWE. So like that's just something to keep in mind.
Let me take a small little take on. Let me bring up his name. As much as people think we may have a beef per se, I mean, it's I feel like we do have a little beef, but for me, it's a little friendly beef.
Right.
Because I have nothing against the guy. I don't hate the guy. I feel like he's great for the sport. And I feel like we need a guy like, people know who I'm going to say, Carolina Muscle. Carolina Muscle is a guy that keeps me on my heels. I feel like I tell myself, if anybody within the world of natural bodybuilding, if I step on stage with them, I'll be okay if they beat me. But I make it clear to myself, it's not gonna happen with Carolina. But guess what? I like his underdog mentality. But the thing is, even though I'm the champion, I still keep that same mentality. I'm still the underdog within my own right. So I'm just gonna always be improving. And he's like the villain of the sport. And everybody knows this. I'm like the Superman that came and saved the day. Everybody was competing with him for a while now, and people may never thought it would have been possible to beat this guy until I made it possible and beat this guy. And you know what? Kudos to him. Kudos to that guy. He may think I have some form of hatred towards him, which I don't. You know, we go back and forth on social media. He blocked me. It's okay, bro. At the end of the day, I hope that he'd find it within himself to understand that this is a sport that requires a little bit of rivalry, but a
Absolutely.
healthy rivalry, to say the
Yeah.
least, and not actual hate. Bro, I don't hate you, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't expect you to hate me too. We're both
Yeah.
going on stage to compete, and that's just what we are doing. It's all for the
So
fans.
before you even came on my radar, I met Carolina Muscle through the Let's Talk About It podcast
Yeah.
at the beginning of this year. That was
Hmm.
after I met with Greg Doucette over at his home, and like we're making buzz and stuff like that. So I wanted Carolina Muscle on this roster just because something that I know very intimately is that Mark, the promoter of Mr. America, he said this very same thing when I hopped on the phone with him a couple weeks ago. People love to see train wrecks.
Right.
So I'm looking at a personality like Carolina Muscle. The entire time I'm on the podcast with Eric Shelton, Carolina Muscle, and my training
Hmm.
partner Valley Muscle, Carolina Muscle's got this face. He's got this like this facial expression where it's like, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
wish you were a bit more supportive of the fact that I'm looking to promote natural bodybuilding.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, I
supposed to
saw
be
that.
like,
I saw that podcast.
like,
You see that he did have one faith, one bit of faith within what you
yeah,
guys were
man. And
saying.
it's
He
just
was,
like,
yeah.
he reminded me of my brother to be perfectly honest with you. I have two older brothers. Both of them
Hmm.
think I'm crazy. Both of them think I'm like overly ambitious. Both of them think I'm like delusional. And the whole time I'm looking at Carolina Muscle, I'm like, yeah, you remind me of my brothers. Guess what? I want you on the team. You know?
Yeah, you need somebody like him, somebody like Carolina, bro. It feels good when they show out and show off, and then you just slam the door shut. Yeah, I
Personally,
like it.
and like
I
I
love it.
love that perspective. Personally,
Right.
like I truly, genuinely want every single person on the planet to win. And
Right.
I want this to feel like we all can win. But the
Right.
thing is, like my job and like my goal as a storyteller is to like
Hmm.
push that narrative. And not
Hmm.
everyone's going to agree, and not everyone is going to agree the entire duration of this journey. But if we can land the ending, if we can land
Right.
the ending and have it feel like holy shit, I feel like I won too. Because like
Right. Yeah.
that's what I'm focused on. Like I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
everyone to feel like yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Natty King needed to be crowned. The person who won it should have won it. I also feel like I'm walking away from a victory because I was attached to this journey, because I was
Right.
attached to this adventure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I love it, man. That's, I mean, so when it comes down to, because you said Philip Ricardo will be the head judge, right,
Yeah,
of the whole.
yeah.
So would it be a panel of judges looking in on the whole cinematic documentary, or is it just,
I
Greg
think
Doucette and Philip?
I don't know if Greg's still going to be a judge. I'm scheduled to talk to him on November 3rd. We're supposed to do an IG live. We'll see if he actually because he's a bit spotty with his scheduling.
Right.
But I don't know if he's still going to be a judge. He might just serve better as like a commentator.
Right.
I definitely want him attached to the project. We're just going to find out how he wants to be involved. But so far as like panel of judges, I think a panel of judges, yes, and I think we're just going to restrict them to judging on the night. However, I don't want to give the judges all of the power when it
Power,
comes
right?
to crowning the Natty King. I think they should
Yep.
get like a big say. I think they should
Hmm.
get a very big say. But again, we're looking for like a feeling of unanimity.
Unanimous. You're right.
Yeah, we want like a
Hmm.
unanimous crowning where the judges put like weight in, the audience weighed in, Greg Doucette weighed in, whether he's a judge or a commentator.
Hmm.
Everyone's kind of giving their 2 cents.
Right.
And again, if there's some detractors, like let's say Carolina Muscle gets on the team, right? And
Hmm.
like he's now competing, he's like one of the 30, right? And he feels like he should have won. Yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody else feels like he should have won.
Everybody's gonna feel like they should win. Even if I don't win,
Uh-huh.
it is what it is. May the best man win. So
Yes.
it is what it is. And you can be true to yourself, bro. If you know that there's somebody who has the drive, the charisma, the character, the physique,
Yeah, we're looking for Arnold.
come on.
Yeah.
Just be happy for the person. No, come on, making
Yeah,
all
man.
complaints and talking badly about it.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
we don't want that.
Yeah, and I will always remind people it's like we're not looking to like have like the next sports icon come out of bodybuilding and then it just be Arnold because that just created one star. That's just one
Right.
star. We're looking at the WWE framework. Dwayne the Rock
Mhm.
Johnson, Dave Batista, John Cena, frickin' Stone Cold Steve Austin, The
Right.
Undertaker. We're looking to create multiple stars. And
Yeah.
I can't see a better story than the one that plays out with the crowning of the Natty King. Like
Right.
I can't think of a better story.
My next question. So, for all the participants, for the 30 man on this whole journey, this is about the financial part again, even though it's really not necessary, but I just want to have some clarity on it.
Hmm.
So the $1 million goes to the winner, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
How about the other competitors? How are they gonna benefit other than getting the spotlight? Will they be given monetary gains as well, or is it just that one person?
Right now, the way that it's structured and it's open, like I think a lot of things change and a lot of like I think the conversation changes entirely once we actually do get funding.
Hmm.
But right now, I'm only attached to a $1 million cash prize going to the winner, and we also need funding to actually pull off the greatest sporting event that has ever happened within bodybuilding since Arnold
Right.
Schwarzenegger was competing. So we need a $1 million cash prize, and we need probably because I was talking to Mark over at Mr. America. I think Mr. Olympia, the Mr. Olympia competition that takes like $3 million to pull off. Arnold
Hmm.
Classic takes another like couple million to pull off a
Hmm.
spectacle of that level. So we probably need like 3 or 4 million just for the tournament alone, and then we probably need an additional 1 to 2 million to do the docu
Hmm.
series. So overall, we would want to like get around $8 million just for like the project alone, right? From there, how do the athletes get paid? I would love to pay every single athlete who's attached to this project. And in the event, like, yeah, I could probably pull that off. If I can get $10 million for the project, the athletes can definitely get paid, of course. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's like our job. Like, I don't even think we should worry too much about the money currently because our job is to create enough of a buzz that people are talking about it. And we're like, all right, so the current WWE champion, Cody Rhodes,
Hmm.
he oh my god, dude, we can use what he did. His father, Dusty Rhodes, he died,
Right.
and there was a moment where like he was supposed to be the WWE world champion and
Hmm.
it was taken from him. So then Cody Rhodes starts this story that takes like, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe even longer years that he has to
Mm.
finish his story for his father
Father.
get the belt of the
Right.
WWE World Championship belt, right?
Right.
So he leaves the promotion, goes off and becomes an independent wrestler, comes back to WWE. The entire
Mm.
world is recognizing him and goes like, "Oh my God, Cody, you got to finish your story. You got to finish your
Right.
story." And then it becomes like a rallying cry where
Mhm.
Cody Rhodes cannot leave the promotion until he gets the belt around his waist. The audience
Right.
is clamoring for it. It becomes a
Yeah.
groundswell. It's no longer his story. Now the
Right.
audience is attached to finishing this story. And it literally becomes like a catchphrase. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
finish your story. Then the WWE superstars, they're saying it to him on stage with the mic. Cody, you got to finish your story. That's what we need to do for the Natty King.
And
We're
that
like,
is true. Because look at this. We as adults, we all know that wrestling is fake,
yes,
you know?
it's
But the
about finishing the
storyline
story.
behind it, that's what keeps it very interesting and keeping
Hmm.
people attached. Because, bro, from we were kids growing up watching WWE, hey, we could tell that it was fake, but those
Yeah,
acrobatic movements and the
yep,
storyline
yeah,
behind it kept us all engaged, man.
yes,
And
yeah,
I can just imagine we can do the same for the Natty King.
yeah. So
Maybe just not that
WWE
dramatic.
WWE, they had acrobatics, they had combat, they had wrestling. That was their
Right.
performance. When it comes to Usain Bolt and his $90 million net worth, his performance
Hmm.
is speed, fastest sprinter alive. When it
Right.
comes to natural bodybuilders, it's posing, it's movement, it's performance, it's showmanship, it's how we present on stage. And
Yeah.
we really have to put an emphasis on the performance aspect and the movement aspect of bodybuilding in order to sell this thing.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes
And
sense.
then everything else becomes story driven. We just keep inserting the narrative that the Natty King needs to be crowned for the
Right.
sake and the soul of the fitness industry. That is the storyline.
Hmm. So how moving forward, how do we weed out other than the public being involved, people who are like, for example, Philip Ricardo, the judges, how do we ensure that these people are being 100% transparent and honest when it comes down to crowning the Natty King without somebody feeling robbed of their hard work
Yeah.
and,
That's
their
yeah. And that's why I want to leave it up to I don't want to leave it up to anyone,
to
but
the right,
that's why I want it to be a unanimous crowning.
right.
That's the only way I can feel like this will feel fair to everyone. If we can all like take the athletes out of it, but if the audience, if the Greg Doucettes, if the Philip Ricardo Juniors, if they can all kind of get on the same page, like, oh yeah, he should have won, then
Hmm.
like the actual athletes themselves, they don't really have much of like a
Yeah.
position to argue.
Because that Mr. America, I didn't just see it happen in classic physique. It happened pretty much across the board, which
Yeah,
was very telling of
yeah,
what the organization is really about. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's bodybuilding. We have to try and weed out as much bias and politics as possible.
absolutely.
And I feel like,
So, and my solution to weeding out as much politics as possible is actually to bring politics into the spotlight as opposed to the way that bodybuilding was typically structured, where it's like it's happening in the background. So, if we're
hmm,
looking to crown the next sports icon and we're looking for like the next Arnold Schwarzenegger to come out of bodybuilding, then the audience and the judges are keeping that in mind, and we're not whispering about it.
right,
We're not whispering about it. So like let's say it comes down to like the final two guys on stage and it's like
hmm,
we're actually structuring this tournament as like a bracket style where it's like it's head to head going on to like the next thing. You just beat that
hmm,
guy and like now it's like the final two like
right,
going at it, right? Let's say it's you and some other dude who's like super boring and has zero charisma, but he's got a really
right,
great physique, right?
yeah,
But we
mhm,
can tell, like, all right, we give him the crown, and the next thing after that is like press release, going on a tour, going around
mhm,
the world. Who would look better talking to like Usain Bolt or Samson
right,
Dowda or Derek
right,
Lunsford? Who's going to look better next to these superstar athletes in different sports,
hmm,
and who's going to represent the sport best?
best, right,
And then when that person gets the crown, I don't want to hear any bitching and complaining.
hmm, and
You
that's
know,
facts,
don't mention politics. It is a
right.
business. We are saying it's a business. Like we're being very transparent. This is a fucking
It is a
business.
business, right?
So
And
it's
people
like,
misunderstand that.
yeah, and then it's like someone says, yeah, but like the guy who came in second had a better physique.
It's not just about the physique.
Exactly,
Remember,
exactly. And we're
like,
gonna make that incredibly clear over the course of the next 3 years. This is
yeah, it's
not just
not
about
just
your
about
physique.
the
It's
physique,
about your communication. It's about your movement. It's about your performance.
right,
Are you showing up the best?
right.
Yeah. My phone is getting really hot, and I'm like nervous that it's
In
gonna
my
die on
shut
me.
up.
But this has
Yeah,
been
man.
great. And
Yeah, man.
consider like we'll do this again.
100%. I'm always on board, bro. Whenever you're ready, we have chats. You just let me know, and I'll try to make the time to be available, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm really thinking of your trajectory, and like I want to see you standing next to Usain Bolt because you're both from the same country and you're both top level athletes within your respective sports. So it's
Right.
like you guys should be fucking homies.
Man, it's just a pity Usain Bolt don't even know who I am. This is crazy,
Exactly.
man.
We're gonna fix that though. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna turn natural bodybuilding into what it really should be, which is like an opportunity
Right.
to exemplify natural human potential.
hmm hmm Yeah, I feel like we just need to build attraction more around
Yeah. Well, that's our job.
yeah,
Yeah.
promoting natural
just
bodybuilding
just
and
keep doing what
bodybuilders.
you're doing, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and we're going to continue to inspire the other athletes on the roster. We've already got Sam in this chat. The fact that Sam
hmm
is in this chat alone shows that
Right.
his mindset is
Yep, he's
is on
always
that same
here.
wavelength. So we just got to keep inspiring.
Yeah, man. True for you. All right, man. Have a nice day, man. I gotta be out of here, bro. So we'll chat again whenever. All
Okay,
right,
bro.
bro.
I'm looking forward
All
to
right,
it.
blessings, bro.
All right,
Cool.
man.
I'll see
Take
you.
care.
Peace out.